And good morning, everyone. Thanks for listening to Monroe Monday. On this Monday, of course, it is September the 12th. I hope everyone's having a great day and had a great weekend. We had some rain. Been talking rain for several days, and it's just kind of went around us. But we finally got a little rain in Monroe County yesterday evening, last night, and so now it's moved out, and we're going to have sunshine the rest of the week according to the Louisville forecast. Warm days and cool nights. So fall is up on us, and so get prepared for that. For the fall season. Of course, it's football season. Monroe County is in wide open with their football season. Of course, played Barron County this past Friday night and was defeated. And homecoming is this Friday night against Greene County. I'll be here at home, so if you can't make it out to the game at the Darrell Carter Stadium, be sure to listen to Kick Country Sports for all your play-by-play action with John Osgothart, Bobby Dale Durrells, and I'm sorry, I forgot his name now. Rob Garman. Rob helps with him. Just don't think of his name a whole lot. Anyway, our first guest is Bobby Gentry, longtime friend. We worked together at Belden, and he's got a lot of different hats in the community throughout. But first, we're going to talk about fishing. I've had him on here before, but he is I guess you say,
been a fishing guide, yeah.
A fishing guide. That's something you love, your passion.
I've actually been 25 years this year, Randy. Been at it quite a while.
Yeah, and Dale Holla is, I guess, your main hub.
I was telling the folks down at Dale Holla, it's 25 years, and so I've been Coast Guard certified for 25 years, and it's been quite a challenge to keep all of them going. I'm commercial and done all that, in the area, and we've had a lot of good times, and it's just been a good ride for me. I never thought I'd leave Belden and go fishing, but it turned out to be a good career for me, so I've really enjoyed that.
But you enjoyed fishing.
Yeah, I've enjoyed fishing. It's hard to beat. Everybody that comes to me at Dale Holla is coming to have a good time, not necessarily that they bring a trouble. Kind of like the old guy at the bartender said one time. He said, you always come and they tell you their problems. But, they come to relax, have a good time, and they're in a beautiful area. We've got a lot comes through Monroe County. They've got to stop at the Dovies. They've got to stop at the barbecue. I've got a lot of local doctors from, I consider Nashville and Louisville local. A lot of cardiologists says I get good business from Monroe County because of the great food down there. So they look forward to coming to Dale Holla for the beauty and the food.
All right.
It's been good.
So, I guess you consider fishing not necessarily a job, but just an enjoyment.
It really is a job. When you deal with the public every day, I've got people from all over the country. It's been challenging during the COVID. The couple of years with the COVID was really bad. We've had a lot of people that was locked down in other parts of the country, and they run to Lake Cumberland, Dale Hall. They run to all the lakes, and we really had a really abundant year of traffic and people, and it's been a challenge, but it's been good. It's been kind of good for the area, but sometimes we get a little overrun. It's hard to deal with the overflow. It's been a hard year for that, but it's been good.
As a guide, do some people ask you to come to them?
What I generally do, there's different types of guides on Dale Holla. We've got crappie guides, which we've got several of those guides, some local guides. They of course, we like to furnish our own boat, our own equipment, because we generally have the equipment to do what we need to do, what we're used to using, because we want to increase their odds to be able to catch more fish. So they're walleye guides, they're equipped for their walleye, and we have our striper guides that's on the Cumberland River, and then the bass and crappie and the walleye on Dale Holla. It's kind of, you break it down, you specialize. You kind of specialize in what you do, and I'm a bass guide in general. That's what I've done for my entire career is bass, and it's largemouth and smallmouth. So that's kind of, I do go in other boats if One of my big things I have to do too, people get new electronics, and when you buy box store electronics and put on your boat, they don't tell you a whole lot how to use them. So we kind of get them set up and get them standard, go to your settings and how to keep from messing it up, but be able excuse me, learn how to use it. That's the main thing.
So in other words, it's basically fishing 101 for dummies. If I didn't know anything about fishing, I could come to you and you would take me out there and hopefully I would come home with a bunch of fish.
Well, hopefully, yeah. And the fish have to make that determination, right? But yeah, generally, it just gives anybody a starting point. That was like when I wrote the book. Me and Mr. Hart done that. We done a reference book. It was a 12-month reference book. And it wasn't about me book. It wasn't about Mr. Hart. It was a book, basically general information about highland reservoirs like Dale Hollow. You got river systems like the Cumberland River, Tennessee River. They fish different than a lake like we have at Dale Hollow. The fish are controlled basically by water temperature, water color, wind direction, and all that. Where a river system, you got to go to the water movement of the water as far as generating, water movement. So a river system fish is totally different, and Dale Hollow is totally different than a river. So people don't realize that, so they got to put it in perspective on where they're fishing and the techniques that work good on them type of waters, and that's what we do as a guide, basically.
So your book is like the time of the month, the time of the year,
and whatever you're looking for. Yes, whatever species you're looking for.
Yeah. So when you take a person out, let's say if me and you's going out today,
mm-hmm.
you can probably basically tell me whether we're going to catch fish mostly, can't you? Just by
pretty much
by the weather, by
the
temperature, by
location is key, and it tells that in the book. During the day, you've got patterns, and fish feed at different intervals throughout the day because of certain conditions, and its light penetration is Dale Hollow, because Dale Hollow is clear, generally clear water. I like to find transitions of creek channels next to rock walls versus that. So it's kind of a fine art and science to know where the food source is. I use this terminology that we would use in a restaurant. If Randy come up to me and told me that he loves Big Macs every day at 1 o'clock, if somebody called me up and said, I need to find Randy, where's he at? I'm not going to go to Dairy Queen. I probably wouldn't go to Taco Bell. I'd probably go to McDonald's, and there would be Randy getting his Big Mac. So if you learn your species of fish that you're fishing for and learn their food sources and their patterns, you're generally going to it's going to increase your odds tremendously to be able to catch a fish. So it kind of works off that concept. I compare people to fish. I guess that's what we do as a fishing guide. So.
Well, now do different species of fish run together? Like you have schools of fish. Do different schools run together?
In a way, yes. The food sources, of course, they're little cannibals. They eat anything that they can get in their mouth, generally. You've got the bass will eat their young. The bass will eat bluegill. They'll eat crappie. They'll eat any small fish. A lot of crawfish. I've always made the recommendation over the years, if you want to catch more fish, learn what their food source is, and do a little research on their food source. In the springtime, when the water temperature reaches 55 to 58 degrees, you've always got crawfish having their young. They spawn out. They have young crawfish. That's candy to a bass. So you want to go to the areas where they have their young, which is transitions between rock and a muddy bottom. So that's where your electronics plays a big part, is you want to go to them transitions, and that's where the food source is going to be. Then you look at your light conditions and your water temperatures, and that really tells you a lot about that. I've had the opportunity since probably 79 and 1980, working with some biologists from Tech. The biologist guys taught me a lot about the food source, which that helped me in the long run of how to trace and put together patterns now as I've got older. And just kind of make it a routine, make it a habit, learning the food source, then you'll know where to go to catch the fish with what they're eating.
Now, you was talking about Del Hollow being so clean and clear. Why is that?
One thing that we don't have the farmland that's right there on the shoreline, a lot of wooded area. Uh, Dale Hollow is a very unique area because of the hills. The runoff usually filters out the mud and dirt, and that makes it the first 15 years life of Dale Hollow was probably its most fertile point when they first filled it up, which that increases the food source for these fish. And Dale Hollow's just filtered out. Now I can see, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but everybody wants to build a home on the ridge and cut timber around the lakes. I've seen a difference in the water clarity in Dale Hollow probably in the last 5 to 7 years due to clearing property on top. We're not as clear as we used to be, so people have a tendency to change things. They don't realize it. Yeah, everybody wants to have a beautiful home on a ridge and be able to see the lake, but it will change the environment of the water conditions some. And that's one reason it's clear. It filters out before it actually gets down to rainwater, and it's just deeper lake and it settles out, good. But that's what changes the lake if it's got a lot of runoff from farmland and property, flat areas.
How long has Del Hollow been there?
1943. In that period, that's when the lake was built and filled up. In that time frame, it was starting to be a lake, and that's been several years. And the world record, I'm proud to say that Dale Hollow, we still hold the world record smallmouth bass. I've seen some 9s and 10s that's come out of it in since 1955. Mr. D.L. Hayes in Litchfield, Kentucky caught that fish. That's one of the biggest questions is asked to me, do you think it'd be another world record? Well, that's very questionable, but if you figure it out from 1943 to 1955, that was a period when the lake was at a fertile point. By being a fertile point, it had a good food source for everything else, because you filled up around the farmland and the timber. You had a lot of small food chain creatures for these fish to eat on. So it thrived for 15 years, and that's when the big fish was caught. But, we really don't know. It's hard to say. There's probably big fish in there somewhere, maybe. But
now it wasn't necessarily stocked. It was.
Them were native, yeah. They were native fish from the Cumberland River. You got the Wolf River and the Obie River. Some people pronounce it the Obey. It's the Obie River, and the Wolf was a native for the smallmouth. We have a lot of smallmouth in the state of Kentucky in this area. They just done really well. They had plenty of cover, plenty of places to hide. Food source was excellent. Just like me and you, Randy, we got a good restaurant. We're going to go to it, and they had a good food source for that first fertile years in the first 15.
Now, do we have any problem fish in Del Hollow right now?
As of now, no, not that we know of. We got brown trout, rainbow trout. We got the black-nosed crappie, which are stock crappie, and then the white crappie and black crappie. We've got a good walleye population. We've got extremely good walleye population. I don't really guide any for walleye because it takes a technique and trolling techniques to do that. But it's extremely good for that. We have people come from all over to do walleye fishing. And we got good wide variety of species. Shell crackers, which are the big red ear bluegill. We've got a good population of those. They've regulated size limits and creel limits for a particular reason. The studies that we've done is that you've got to manage a body of water to keep it viable and healthy. And I think the TWRA and Kentucky Fish and Wildlife have done a good job with stocking programs. And we just had a lot more people now, and fishing's a little bit tougher because of the overflow of boats we have. So that's changed conditions some this year.
Yeah. One more question before we go to break. When they open the dam up and they'll let water out, do fish go with the water also? Or
not necessarily. What a fish generally do, they don't like to feel like they're trapped. If it's falling water conditions, they'll usually pull out in deeper water and just suspend. They'll sit in a water column at an area where we have a thermocline, difference between hot and cold water. So they'll find a comfort zone and they'll settle, and they don't really move. we have such a small amount of current through Del Hollow, it doesn't affect them very much at all, really.
So they stay away from that current area then.
Pretty much, yeah. They'll stay away.
You hear the stories about catfish being big as Volkswagen and stuff around
and I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't find a sturgeon or two in there, because see, sturgeon, we got a stocking program in the Cumberland River, which are doing really well. And sturgeon were native for the Cumberland River, and I'm pretty sure that there's probably a sturgeon or two in Del Hollow that's been in there. They live to be many years old. There's been some tagged up to 80, 90 years old. I fished the Columbia River out in Washington State, and I had a 12-footer beside the boat. So they get big, and they live a long time. And they could be down in that deep, colder water. They're bottom feeders. You know, some of them big catfish could have been 10-foot sturgeon. You just never know, because Mr. Milam, he could probably tell you what they look like underwater, but, you know, we just never know what's down there.
All right, take a break, and we'll be right back with Bobby Gentry. And welcome back to Monroe Monday. How was Bobby Gentry? And we're going to change hats a little bit. We're going to talk about the Mount Hermon Community Center. Him and his wife kind of oversee that and run it for the past several years now. Of course, I know it's been closed.
Yeah, it was closed for quite a few years, and we, you know, the Morris family, we got the lease. It was like an 80-year lease on that property, and we put that building in there. And you know, they wanted. I know Dr. Billy. He said he wanted that to be for the community, and that's what we've tried to do is, you know, give a place for people to go. You know, and it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun too to get to see people come out there. We got from kids in carriers to my mom turned 90. She wouldn't miss a day. As long as she can get there, I'll take her. And we've had a lot of people out there over the last several years since we've had it back open.
And y'all usually have what, every other weekend?
Every other weekend. The next thing we got coming up, Randy, is it's going to be Saturday, September the 24th. We're going to have a band called Junction South. And we always try to put a little theme on some of our events we have. This is a Mardi Gras. And a lot of people get a kick out of that. I mean, the ones that want to dress up and do the Mardi Gras theme, they can come and do that. If you just want to come and watch everybody in life and have fun with each other, that's coming up. That's our next event we'll be having. So I'd like to invite everybody out to come to that and enjoy yourself and have a little food and enjoy the people. That's really what it's there for. It's a community event, and I'd like to have everybody out if we can.
So who's Addison Johnson?
Addison Johnson. I met Addison several years ago. He's a writer and songwriter from, he's actually from North Carolina. And I met Addison actually in the fishing industry. I was in Owensboro, Kentucky doing a show at the convention center, and I'd met Addison. I said, Addison, you're sponsored by several of the bass people in the kayak industry. He's the Hobie kayak. Excuse me. And I said, why don't you meet me in Owensboro, and I'll let you do it. We'll split a seminar together. And we done that, and we've been friends ever since. And he's been on a tour over in Germany here in the last month or so, and he's got a lot of good songs out right now. He's growing in popularity. I'm really proud to get to know Addison. He's a good person in general, and we just have a lot of good time together. So it's hard to describe Addison. He's a fine guy and a good songwriter. We have a lot of good fun together.
He's been to your house a time or two, I'd say.
Several times, yeah. He's come up to the community center and performed a couple times. He does several local shows. He's been on tour here recently. He's been in the Carolinas, up north, Michigan, Indianapolis. He covers a lot of states, so he's on the road more than he's home, but he's on tour most of the time.
Let's listen to just a little part of his song here, and we'll talk about it.
All right.
I got a pound of white powder up under my bed, and I really gotta get it gone. So I went down to old Bobby Gentry's house, 'cause I knew he wasn't home. the two vines. With a little hot wire, I was spinning tires and heading towards the county line. Now I'm rolling, strolling down to New Orleans in that old Chevelle. Got the law on my ass and my foot on the gas, yeah, hauling them cartel bells. Gotta get there for the morning while the sheriff's still snoring and try to make that sale. Well, I'm a rolling, strolling down to New Orleans in that old Chevelle.
Yeah, what are friends for there, Randy? Yeah, Addison, he's always coming up with something. And out on the boat, you get out there, and of course, I've been playing for 30 plus years with a lot of the local bands, and we get to talking about songs, and he'll come up with an idea. He say, "Hey, I've got a song for you." Of course, I've had a lot of fun out of that, but that went number one for on a lot of the charts for him, and it got me a little bit of notoriety, and it got me a whole lot really. But he's a good guy to do something like that, But we've had fun with it. It's a good song.
You got him on the agenda to come back to Mount Hermon?
I just gonna have to check and see what his schedule is. He totally makes a living on his touring, and he's gonna play some more local events. We'd like to get him back up there. I'm probably going to try to this later spring to try to have an outside event where we could have maybe multiple entertainers. We'll have a live band, and then we'll have guest singers, and have maybe Addison and a couple more people. I've got a good friend, Russell Garrett from Livingston. He's a guitar tech with Luke Bryan, and Russell, I've been trying to talk to Russell. I'd like for him to start playing some. Him and his brother are wonderful songwriters, and I think they just finished some recording in Nashville. So I'm hoping to get Russell and his brother to come up and put together a little something for us sometime. Russell helped me with the sound equipment up there. He's a pretty high-end guy for me, but we've got to be good friends. So we'll see what we got coming up next year. Now that we're getting back to some form of normality with COVID, we can plan a few more things out, hopefully this coming year. Hopefully that'll work for us.
All righty. Let's shift gears for just a minute. And not sure what's going on here. Check 1, 2. All right, now let's see what's going on here. Maybe this is better. Okay, yeah, things are not going good here. All right. I was looking here. We wasn't on the air. It didn't seem like. But anyway, okay, here we go. We're gonna shift gears here a little bit. Anyway, of course, Bobby, you're on the school board, and you are up for election here in November. And we have an opponent, Carrie Jo Smith Hunter, and that's November the
I'm not
16th or something.
something,
I'm
yeah.
thinking. But anyway, of course, we talked earlier. You're the only school board member that is running this time. I think you're up for election.
Yeah, it's Carrie Jo has filed this year. Yeah, I'd like to ask all the people in District 2 to help me out this year. I don't really know what else to say other than I think we've worked really good together. I'm hoping we can get another term in here, and hope everybody's got the confidence in what we've done. We had a very trying year with the COVID with our schools, and the one thing we do is as a board, we all work good together. We can sit down and we don't do drama. We have good conversations with each other. What's best for our kids and best for our staff and our faculty. We've worked really hard to try to make our safety a big issue. We got to keep our kids safe. There's been so much going on with the school shootings and stuff like that. We're constantly coming up with ideas on what's going to help us. We're looking at some window coverings or locks on the doors. We had an active shooter training over at the school. which went very well. Our metal detectors, I was over at the board and meeting other night and was talking about they come in and recalibrated one of our metal detectors to make sure the sensitivity is right. You know, we've got stuff that a lot of the schools in the state of Kentucky does not have. You know, we've went that extra step of the way to try to have the best we can get. The metal detectors we've got is as good a quality or what they would have in a state penitentiary. I mean, they're high quality metal detectors. Now we've got them in multiple doorways, and if you come in our school, you go through a metal detector. So I mean, it's just a lot of ideas that we're constantly working on. We try to keep a good fleet of buses. We've got a bunch of people to work with, our staff and our maintenance people. You know, we try to make sure that everybody's got what they need as a board. You know, if they need something, they come to the board. If it's a need for that, we try to make sure the money's available to get that for them. You know, you've got to have tools to do your job with, and that's what we've tried to do. And, you know, I couldn't ask for a better group of people to work with. They do a really good job for us. Communications, we have good communications between each other. It's kind of like a ball team. You know, we're a team. We work as a group and a team, and you know, I hope everybody sees that we're doing that, and you know, everybody's got an opportunity to come to a board meeting. You're more than welcome to come to your meetings. When we have public comments, you know, let us know. I've made myself available to many people in there. I've got kids in District 2 that will talk to me before they'll talk to someone at school or talk to their parents. You know, at the community center, we've had kids that's come out there that's in my district, and they might have a little issue. And I said, have you talked to your parents? You know, and they really don't. But I make sure the word gets back to our superintendent, and they talk to the principal. You know, we try to go through a chain of command. A student, I hope they got confidence in their teacher to talk to them. And they need to talk to the principal and talk to our superintendent. You know, if we get the board involved, that we make a lot of major decisions from finance to issues. You know, and we got a lot of stuff on our plate. We have to sign off on everything. That was like the COVID. You know, that was about as hard a deal that we've had to ever deal with, especially since I've been on the board. But you know, we learn a lot. You know, how to deal with the state when the state mandates something. You don't have a lot of choice. You know, you just kind of have to do what you can do. But that don't mean we like what we do sometime. But it takes a small army to run a school district, and I think we've done well with what we've got to do with because of our tax base and various things. But we're making improvements every day. You know, we've about got our PE facility coming up fast. That's going to be utilized to our students and everyone that can use that. It's got multiple purposes. It's going to be a fine facility back there behind the high school, and we've renovated and got a lot of the air conditioning, a lot of the heating and cooling. We're working on all that to make sure that's good for our students. And we set a date to open the school, and we told the contractors we will be opening school this date, and they did have that ready to open up. But there's some cosmetic work that we're still doing in the schools, and that's coming together really good and really fast. One thing we're doing, Randy, that been conversation now for quite some time is an auditorium. That's one thing that we really need in Monroe County. I've been to Metcalfe County, seen what they have. I've been in Berrien County and Glasgow area and looked at theirs. You know, we need a facility like that for our drama classes. Beta can use this. You know, students can use this for various plays or activities that they have. We'd like to have a band hall in that facility, a good place for a band to have, and they can perform on the stage, use the stage. Even public announcements, you know, they could have the principal or could call the school together for some type of meeting and have a place for the students to be in a good environment and comfortable and good seating. You know, it always makes it better to do something that's going to be a lasting project. This PE facility is going to be a lasting project. It's something we're going to be around for a long time, and we're going to get this project on the move here in the next couple of years. We're hoping to see some big changes. Big deal is funding, and we're working on all that. Mitzi's doing what she can do, and with her finances to look at what we can do down the road and get bonded. You know, it's a big project, but it's something we're wanting to do as a group to improve our county, and I think we're headed in the right direction. So I hope everybody votes for me. Come out and vote. Got to go vote. You know, yay or nay, but you know, I'm asking for your vote, and hopefully keep me in there another term. And you know, I got mine well advertised. I'm not hard to find. I'm out there multiple places. So you know, just let me know what you feel. You know, just give me a call. Talk to me personally, stop me on the road, it doesn't matter. You know, I'm just open for whatever suggestions you got, and I'll make sure it gets heard by the right people.
Like I told Bobby, I said, you know, this is one free pass to for political advertising, and of course I'm going to get with Carrie Jo and give her an opportunity to come on Monroe Monday here in a week or two and do her spiel for the as a candidate for the Board of Education. Do you have a projected date for the when the PE facility will be open? Do they have any?
I think they do. Sometimes it's better to stay out of the way when they're working. You know, we've kind of got some ideas when it's going to be available. The big thing is, you know, is getting materials and stuff in. You know, since the situation we've been under with COVID, you know, we've had to really push our contractors and people's had to really work to get materials in to get this project built. Right. So, you know, we've got some ideas. We will have more on that probably later on, but it's coming along really well. It's moving pretty fast now.
Yeah. All right, Bobby, appreciate you coming in today and talking to us about, of course, the fishing, about the Mount Hermon Community Center. And you said next Saturday, that's the 24th, will be the next time y'all have somebody performing. Then you open up. They start performing at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, that'll be on Junction South. It'll be there on the 24th, and it'll be Mardi Gras night. Come out and have a good time. Bring the family. We're family-friendly dances, and kids they usually have a good time. The last one we had, they really enjoyed themselves. They got to dress up in their little ball gowns and their little masks.
Like
and
mask,
so,
yeah.
you know, bring the kids out and come out and enjoy yourself with us.
All righty. We're going to take another break, and we'll be right back with more Monroe Monday